History isn't just battles and borders. It's a tapestry of longing, risk, and the quiet courage to open a heart again. Tonight we drift through 10 unforgettable romantic movies set in history. Stories where love survives storms, whispers through centuries, and hope finds a way to bloom amid ordinary life and extraordinary challenges. These tales remind us that romance isn't paused by the past, it's found, nurtured, and rewritten there. So sit back, and let these eras cradle your imagination as love makes a home in every era. First, Pride and Prejudice sweeps us into Regency England, where Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy collide with social rules, pride, and a world that wants to fit them into neat boxes. What begins as sparring grows into trust, then tenderness, and finally a rough road to honesty. The ballroom glances, the quiet letters. The moments when a stubborn heart finally leans toward courage. Their romance teaches that humility and open hands can outpace prejudice, even when gossip and family expectations threaten to pull them apart. And when Darcy finally admits a true admiration that goes beyond first impressions, we feel that a stubborn agreement with fear can melt into a fearless choice for love. Next, Titanic takes us aboard an ocean liner sailing into a fated night. A 17-year-old artist and a society woman from different worlds find a dangerous, undeniable flame as the ship rides the Atlantic's dark heart. The romance is bright, then battered by catastrophe. A reminder that true connection isn't just about the perfect moment but about choosing each other in the face of loss. In the midst of icy water and collapsing steel, their decision to protect and to care becomes the heartbeat of the story. The message lingers, even when time seems to be slipping away. Love can grow again in memory, in the way you carry someone inside you. Then we sail to out of Africa, where dust and savanna skies frame a romance between Karen Blixen and a free-spirited hunter. The African highlands are both generous and dangerous, mirroring a love that must learn to breathe with the land and with its own ambitions. Their bond is forged not by one blazing moment, but by shared quiet afternoons, long conversations under stars, and the stubborn commitment to grow beyond fear. When distance and duty press in, the tenderness that remains becomes a compass, guiding us toward a love that is patient enough to endure droughts of longing and bold enough to seek. In The English Patient, desert winds blur memory and longing as a physician nurse and a mysterious burn survivor unlock a love that survives betrayal and time. The Sahara becomes a classroom where vulnerability is a strength and listening becomes an act of courage. Every memory stitched into the patient's body invites us to consider what we owe to the people who saved us and what we owe to the truths that heal a broken heart. The romance here isn't loud, it's patient, insisting that the deepest connections survive even when we forget the faces of those we love. Atonement moves between a 1930s English countryside and a world at war, where a rumor and a lie alter the course of two lives. The romance is tested by time, by guilt, and by the consequences of a child's misinterpretation. Yet the film threads a thread of resilience. People forgive, seek forgiveness, and find ways to keep love alive through separation and distance. Each scene carries a quiet reverberation, reminding us that love can rewrite even the cruelest chapters if honesty and mercy are allowed to walk beside it. When a late reunion hints at a second chance, the heart feels the ache and knows it can still choose to mend. Memoirs of a Geisha brings us to a vertical world of ritual, tradition, and the perilous spaces where art and desire meet. In a society built on delicate boundaries, a young girl's talent and determination carve a path toward a love that must endure obstacles, dramatically bigger than her own hopes. The romance here isn't a single flame but a cleansing fire that tests loyalty, risk, and the price of dreams. The moments when a dancer rises to claim her heart amid whispers and rivalries teach that beauty can be stronger than rules, and that devotion can bend a rigid world toward mercy and chance. Cold Mountain steps into a Civil War winter, where a wounded soldier travels home across a country cracked by conflict, while his beloved waits in a world that's changing shape around her. the romance becomes a map through hardship, offering faith in reunion even when the path is uncertain and the future uncertain. It's about the sweat of travel, the breath of longing, and the steady choice to hold on to someone you promised to return to. Love here is a stubborn flame that refuses to go out, even when the world burns around it. Yet the film also honors the small, ordinary acts that keep love alive: letters, visits, and the simple decision to keep showing up. Jane Eyre carries us to moorlands and rain-soaked rooms where independence and passion collide. A woman who dares to claim her own strength enters a gothic romance with a brooding man who has his own layers of hurt. Their relationship grows not from loud declarations but from quiet battles won in mutual respect, shared vulnerability, and the honesty that refuses to pretend. The power of this romance lies in the way it challenges the past's limits, inviting us to believe that a person's worth is not measured by others' judgments but by the courage to demand a place at the table of love. Becoming Jane invites us behind the scenes of a writer's youth, where a young Jane Austen learns that love can be both dangerous and transformative. The romance is not merely a sweet encounter but a shaping force that teaches her how to see through illusions, how to temper vulnerability with wit, and how to believe that a life written with honesty can still be a life worth living. It's a reminder that the first spark of passion can also be a spark of creative truth, guiding a broader sense of purpose and connection. The Painted Veil journeys into 1920s China, where a scientist's marriage is tested as storms of betrayal, illness, and distance roll in. The romance here becomes a tutor in resilience, a quiet insistence that love can survive even when trust erodes and the world seems to tilt. The film's landscapes, coasts and cities, rituals and alarms mirror the couple's evolving tenderness, culminating in a reunion that's earned through sacrifice and a gentleness that chooses forgiveness over pride. In the end, it asks us to believe that healing can be shared, and that love's most lasting form is patient and true. 10 stories, 10 worlds, one enduring truth. Love can bloom under pressure, even when history places heavy demands on the heart. Each film in this list offers a doorway into different lives, different cultures, and different eras, all held together by the same thread of romance. If you've ever felt that romance is gone from your life, or that history has little room for tenderness, these films invite you to reconsider. Love isn't a fantasy of the past. It's a living force that meets people where they are, accepts their flaws, and gives them the courage to become braver versions of themselves. So let these stories wrap around you, remind you that hope still glows, and teach you that the happiest endings aren't handed to us, they're built, step by step, with patience, trust, and a willingness to choose love again and again. Thank you for traveling with me through history's most unforgettable romances. If you found yourself smiling at a favorite scene or feeling your heart lift at a quiet confession, tell me which of these 10 films you'd rewatch first, which character you fell in love with, and how their resilience sparked something in your own life. Until next time, may your days be wrapped in warmth, and may your heart always retain room for a story that proves true love can endure, evolve, and finally endure again. Sometimes love lasts not with a grand gesture but with quiet promises, the shared look, the hand held in a crowd, the note reread when hope feels far away. These 10 journeys remind us that love survives not by perfect timing but by patient choosing, again and again. If a scene lingered for you, tell me which one tugged your heart the most. Share your own dream of a second chance and let romance's gentle patience warm you tonight. Endings here aren't endings at all.